Hello and welcome to the Business Success Show with me, Mac Attram. And today you are in for a treat. Why? Because I'm about to introduce you to someone that I've known for many, many years. Now, his whole thing is about how to create the life that you love and get paid to live it. So every single one of us has some given talents, abilities, skills. But unfortunately, some people get stuck in a job 9 to 5 for 40 years, 50 years they don't enjoy. But how would you love to live a life that is truly, uniquely, and authentically you? Your own fingerprint, nobody else's. It doesn't match anybody else's. And with that, on that note, I've asked my good friend Tony DADA to come up here to share with us how does someone live like that? His background, his experiences. And here at the Business Success Show, as you know, we want to give you inspiration, empowerment, motivation for you to live the life that you want and build a business that gives you the lifestyle that you really, really desire and deserve. Now, Tony has spent more than 20 years investing in some of society's most disadvantaged people, transforming their lives through his workshops, his programs, and his courses. Now, this gentleman, you can tell by his hat, he's a creative. He's not just a creative, he's a conscious, creative, social entrepreneur. Creative in the sense that he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an author, he's an award-winning coach, and also formerly the head of a centre of excellence in South London in the UK. Now, his creative passion and investing in people has led him to sit in meetings with the heads of Apple UK. Apple the corporation, not Apple the fruit. Apple the corporation. L'Oreal, the hair company, hair products company, the beauty company, as well as involved in projects by the Home Office. I'm talking about the UK Home Office, the Mayor's Office in the UK, the British Army, Island Records, my friends, Island Records, Yamaha, Channel 4, the Prince's Trust here in the UK. And in 2012, he was given an award by none other than Boris Johnson, who's currently the UK Prime Minister. But at the time in 2012, he was the Mayor of London. Now, why was he given this award? For his outstanding contribution to improving the lives of Londoners and the quality of their lives here in London, UK. Now, I keep talking about London a lot, but he's a sought-after coach around the world as well. I'll let you know more in a moment. He's an award-winning author, coach, and he's the mastermind. This is when I first met him and he told me this, I thought, oh my goodness. He's the mastermind behind projects that launched the careers of people like Leona Lewis, the singer, Alexandra Burke, JLS, and many other creatives. He's the creator of the D.A.D.A Success System, D.A.D.A Academy, which we'll hear more about, and the GPS, which means GPS in terms of satellite navigation. I'm talking about your life navigation. GPS in his world stands for Grow Personal Success System. It's a personal development coaching framework which helps people to live their life more authentically, gain clarity, and also find their passion and live according to their soul purpose, finding their natural gifts so they can begin to create the life that they love and get paid for it. That's the exciting part. How would you love to live the life that you desire and get paid for it? Tony, over to you. Tell us a little bit about your background. Welcome to the Business Success Show.
It's time to go home. You said it all. I mean, I couldn't have said it more succinctly. I'm like, are you talking about me? I think he is.
Yes, indeed.
It's so great to hear you, listening to you. I'm like, actually, he's right. I've done it. And when I first had this vision, of course, you can imagine, I'm talking about this vision dawned on me some 40 years ago. People at the time were saying it's impossible. And I was always hearing things like, well, you have to pay bills. Because I would say to people, money is the last thing that you should be focusing on. Now, that doesn't make sense to people say you have to pay your bills. But I guess I literally had to live the life so I could demonstrate what my soul knew was possible. You know what we're like as human beings. we need to see it to believe it. Yeah.
Mm.
And so now here I am, able to demonstrate that I've been able to live this life on my terms and enjoy it and have some wonderful experiences. And so as a result, my whole thing has really been my whole adult life, how to show people and how to prove to people that it is possible.
Fantastic. And that's a great thing to do. You know, that's inspiring, listening to you, that actually you've dedicated and committed your whole life helping other people to find out who they are and live the life that they're supposed to live as well. What led you to that? I mean, what happened? What were there incidences in your life that got you get that level of clarity? Was it a trial and error thing? What happened?
Well, to be fair, I had a clarity many, many years ago that I needed to pursue my purpose. And so, funny enough, exactly 39 years ago, this month, I made myself as a young teenager intentionally homeless in pursuit of peace and happiness. It sounds crazy now when I think back to it, but at the time, I now understand that it was my sole purpose. You see, what I show people is that there are two beings within us. There is the human and there is the soul.
Right.
And the soul has a deeper understanding. And although it's not very loud, it's very powerful if you give it and allow it to lead you. And that's really what happened to me. So I had no friends, no work, nowhere to live. But for some reason, I knew I'd be okay.
How old were you at that time? What,
I
you know,
think I was 18 at the time. But what
you,
made it in particular is the fact that born and raised by Nigerian parents, I'd lived a very insular and secluded life. So I had one friend.
wow.
Yeah. So it's not like I could go out and I had people that I could go to and support. I had one friend, but I just knew deep in my soul that I'd be okay. Now, what happened for me, to answer your question, is, and we talk about this when we talk about the law of attraction, within 6 months of me taking myself out of what seemed to be comfortable surroundings and making myself uncomfortable, I met someone who became my spiritual mentor. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but this is why when we met and you told me you were from Ghana, I'm like, hey, this is my countryman, because I have a special place in my heart for people from Ghana, because this man introduced me to a whole new world of possibilities. And the reason why I've dedicated my life to this is because at that time when I left home, it was a turbulent situation. So I was involved in gangs and violence and all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of conflict between not just racism in terms of black and white, but even between Africans and West Indians. So I had all of that going on. And I know where my life was going had I not been, saved in that way. Yeah.
Right.
And so meeting him and him introducing me to this whole new way of being, which is not traditionally the West approach to things. He's from Ghana. He was only here by chance. Yet we began a journey that has shown me things that no school, college, or university has ever shown me. And when I got to the age of my early 20s, I managed to sort myself out and settle. I was in a relationship and I started doing a degree in architecture because, being Nigerian, your parents tell you, don't power it,
Study.
or they disown you. I remember in my second year of my degree, I was faced with this question that came to me. And it was, do you want to be the builder of buildings or the builder of communities?
Mm.
And I guess I made my choice there and then,
Mm.
And so since then, my commitment has been, I know this thing works. So my challenge is, it's my responsibility to find a way to craft a system that is easily understood for people who are in the West, because we think differently to,
Right.
do you see my point?
I do.
And that's really what's been my my preoccupation, really.
Right, right. Okay. Well, it seems like your mentor at the time really opened your eyes up, got you more conscious. You studied your degree. You decided that, hey, look, you want to build communities, not buildings, and
But
you
you know, he's still my mentor till this day.
still your mentor. Yeah, absolutely. And so the communities you built, when I go through your stuff and you worked with people like JLS and all these Leona Lewis and all these people and helping them to really find their creative abilities and helping them to launch their careers. And you've done that with creatives of all sorts. Done that with corporate people working corporations, realizing that this is not the life for them now, but they're looking for what is their life. Tell us about your DADA Success Academy. Who have you worked with? What have you helped them with? What kind of results have they got that now they live in a more fulfilled life?
So to answer that question, I want to go back just a little bit because it's been a journey of evolution. So I didn't just set out and say, right, I'm going to, I knew I had a vision, but it's been a journey to discover and evolve into it. So originally, what actually happened is 10 years after I made myself intentionally homeless, I found myself homeless again.
Again?
Yes.
Wow.
In 1992. No, that was 1992. But when I look back now, I see it was all part of my soul's evolution, because literally the 1st of March 1992, I put on my first event to help and support people, and within 6 months I found myself homeless again, and that was as a result of breakdown. You're looking at me like, what the hell? And that one was worse though, because I literally lost in one day everything. You had an agreement and a disagreement, and I was literally told, you can't come back. And it was a shock. I lost everything, including access to my children. But I'm saying that to say that this is what I show people, that life, if we can tune into our higher consciousness, everything is for our highest good. And one of the things that my mentor taught me, which literally saved my life, because it was without a doubt the most challenging experience I had. But he had said to me something along the lines. He said, son, it doesn't matter what happens to you. What matters is how you respond to what's happened. Mm-hmm. That there's a difference between reacting and responding.
That's right.
And in my deep, depression at that time, when this awareness came to me, I was like, but what if the universe is giving me a challenge to say, you've been with your spiritual mentor for 10 years and you think you know some stuff, right? Well, prove it.
Right.
Like, you got no money, you got nothing. Make this work. Okay. Make this vision of being able to build something from absolutely nothing. Make it work.
Now, how did you make it work?
That was it.
How did you turn your life around? I mean,
because it was just really about the awareness, you see, and this is why I run this program called MINDreSET. You see, because once I realized that, now it was like, okay, I'm going to rise to the challenge. And love is a very powerful energy that people don't understand how to use. So, of course, I was in pain, but I thought about what is the thing that I love the most. I love music, I love creativity, and I also was very passionate now about young people who adults cause problems in young people's lives, because I was going through the same thing with my children. The beauty of it is I was able to get everything that I had lost. I was able to regain it, but I was now on a mission. So I took all of that energy, all of that passion, all of that love, and I practiced what I call today the secret law of giving.
Okay.
If people could really understand that there is a spiritual law in when you apply yourself, your mind, your energy, your resources, and it is genuinely head and heart for the advancement and betterment of someone else, life has an amazing way of blessing you. So I didn't have any money, but I'm Nigerian, so I knew how to cut deals. Mm-hmm. So I went to a venue owner. In fact, I've actually got this leaflet just to show you how how crazy it was.
Oh
This
wow,
was
look at
my
that.
very first leaflet. I
In
had
black and
no
white.
money. I had no money, so I found a guy who was an artist, and I said, "Listen, I'll give you an opportunity to showcase your work. Design this flyer for me, and I'll print it and showcase your work." I then went to the venue of a club and said, "Look, I've got no money, but I can bring 100 people to your venue on a Sunday when you've only got 10. Give it to me for free." And that's how I staged my very first event.
Wow.
I mean, I was looking at it the other day. The tickets were £2.
£2 back in the day. Was that 1992? Did you say?
Yeah, 1992, 1st of March.
Wow.
But I tell you what, within 6 weeks of doing this event every week, we'd outgrown the venue and had to move to another venue.
My goodness.
And this is how it started. Within a couple of years, that humble beginning, we were running events across the UK.
My goodness.
That's how big it got. And so then I was able to then attract sponsorship. So the point I want to make is we don't realize that our challenge could actually be our blessing, because I learned how to cut deals with no money.
Wow.
And that has been a quality that I've been able to use throughout my life. And that's why I say to people, money is the last thing you need, because I didn't allow that to stop me. I cut the deal with everyone who had a vested interest in what I was doing. So what that caused and forced me to do was, how can I give? How can I do deals so that it's a win-win for all parties concerned? And that's how I do my business. I'm not interested in doing business with you if it's I win and you lose. Because that's, from a spiritual point of view, that's bad karma.
Bad karma.
And so my whole thing is really showing people how we can infuse these spiritual principles into your practical living and your day of life. So as things began to grow, it was, as I said, we were going across the country. We were effectively running an X Factor for the community. That's really what it was.
Right.
Semi-finals and finals, and this is where we were growing. But the problem that was happening was it was growing too fast. And so this is why I'm really glad that I've connected with you, because I never set out to start a business.
Right.
What I show people is that when you're on your purpose and you're doing your thing, you need a framework in order to house it. So someone approached me one day and said, "Look, you're never going to make a lot of money doing this, but your thing is really popular. Why don't you set up a not-for-profit organization?" I said, "What's that?" I had no clue. I didn't know what it was, but I had nothing to lose because, I couldn't make enough money to get things going. So we set up as a not-for-profit organization. Someone helped me, and within 6 months, we received our first check of £75,000 from the Arts Council.
Oh wow!
And then went on over a period of a few years. I was like, well, if this works, let's keep doing this. And so this is how we made it work. The business model then was, I was working with disadvantaged young people who had talent and had dreams and visions, but they didn't have any money. So our model was, we would go to organizations like the Mayor's Office, like the Home Office, like the Arts Council. They would pay for the courses and we deliver the courses. We went on to raise nearly £2 million over a period of time doing that. And then, of course, you heard about the JLS saga. So that was really where, when the JLS saga occurred, I signed into my record label. The whole idea was, we could see that I was really quite good at talent scouting. We'd sign into our company. The record companies would come along and then we'd do the deal. But unfortunately, we got shafted in that scenario, and we didn't have enough money to go to court with,
to fight that legal battle.
It just wasn't. And so that was really quite another painful experience. And my thing is wanting to teach people that there is always a spiritual message in pain.
What I love what you said is this. Look, you homeless twice. You set up a business. You don't even know it's a business. You start running it. It didn't work out. It grew too fast. You found people with talent. You started developing them. people take your talent away, you get nothing. So throughout your journey, you've been smacked in the face many, many times. But here you are still smiling and still helping people. So what I want to say is this, for those people sitting there thinking, wow, this Tony guy, how does he do it? What's the mindset that he has to have in order to just keep going? And they're thinking, well, I want to start my business. I don't know what business to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know who can help me. But I know you have that model that can help people discover who they are
Yes.
and get paid for it. How do you do that?
So the model is really based on taking all of my learning that I've been blessed with over the years. So as I've said, so I have a spiritual mentor who's been in my life for 40 years, and everything comes from that place. It's really about how do we lift the human consciousness so that people can live their best lives, live their soul purpose. See, when you connect to your soul purpose, ain't nothing gonna stop you.
Right, right. Is
That's
what people say, living purposefully, living by mission,
absolutely,
what's your big
absolutely.
why? Okay.
Yeah. But we're not just saying it as words. See, when I work with people, we are actually able to evidence it and prove it, quantifiably measure. So when they had that experience, that, oh my God, this is what I'm naturally like, then they start telling me about instances that now come to their mind and memory of when they were displaying it 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Already,
Yeah, but they just didn't
already,
know.
right,
Yeah, but they just didn't know what it was.
right.
Now you've got this power base that, listen, this has been in my DNA. I just didn't recognize it. Now I'm consciously aware of it. By spiritual law, when you focus on something, it grows.
Yeah,
So you were doing it anyway, you just weren't aware of it. Now, but by employing universal spiritual principles, like now you've seen it, make it your focus. It will grow in magnitude and power. And now we need to just look at how we can package it. So all of those kind of lessons came from my spiritual mentor. However, there was a lesson that I needed to learn because, like you said, I kept getting smacked in the face, as it were. And what I came to realize was that I needed to learn the lesson of commerce and business. And so 3 years ago, life blessed me. And incidentally, I've never gone looking for mentors, but once I began to realize the power of mentorship, how about I definitely do now? But 3 years ago, life blessed me with someone who was a very astute businessman. In fact, he'd run 40 companies, all of them successfully, was a billionaire. And he decided that he wanted to mentor and coach me.
right.
And what I've learned and what I'm doing now is, I mean, sadly, he passed in 2020, but not before helping me to come to the realization that, one, as part of my commitment, I made a pledge to him in terms of I'm going to help as many people as possible. And it's really a synthesis of bringing what I've learned from my spiritual mentor and what I've learned from my business mentor, fusing them together and scaling it. That's really my mission.
You know, there's a saying that we are human beings, not human doings.
Absolutely.
And so what you say is that we are spiritual beings, but we also live in the world of reality. And the world of reality says you've got to pay for your bread, you've got to pay for this, you've got to pay for your house, you've got to pay for your... So that takes money. So what you're beautifully saying is that live as to who you're supposed to be, make money in the most ethical, conscious way, marry them together, and which is what you help people to do. So
Yes.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And that's really what it's about, And so he taught me so much, Errol Abramson, about business, about money, and I'll tell you what happened. It was a turning point. We were having a conversation and I was telling him about all the people I was helping and some of the results. And he said, Tony, if you're making that much difference in people's lives and you're not scaling this, that's a very wicked thing that you're doing. And that hit.
Wicked in the sense of selfish.
Yes. It was like, because I was kind of like, I was coasting along. I was helping people, but it was like maybe 100 people a year. I didn't have that burning desire. Like he was on a mission. He was trying to teach business and entrepreneurship, and his goal was 100 million people globally.
Right.
Yeah, and he was making moves. And when he said that, that's when it just hit me in my soul, and I was like, well, listen, if I grew my vision to just 1% of what he's doing, like if I sought out to transform the lives of 1 million people as a result of employing this mind reset 90-day challenge, that's what it takes, 90 in less than 90 days.
So you're saying someone could do your mind reset 90-day challenge and less than 90 days really reprogram their mind towards.
They'll begin to see. I've had people. So I've had people who, in less than 30 days, based on what they've seen, they've said, Tony, can I work with you one-on-one? I don't actually advertise my one-to-one coaching,
right? Because
I'm on this vision. But what they've seen, I mean, I'll give you an example. Just before this call, I had a lady exactly the same. She did our 5-day challenge. As a result, said, I'm going to do the 90-day program. The 90-day program is broken down into a 14-day program. And in this 14-day program, this is where you develop what we call your life book. You get clarity on the 5 key areas of your life: your mental and emotional life, your spiritual life in terms of what you believe in, your health and well-being, your business and your money, and your mindset. Right. In 14 days, it's crazy what we've seen. I'm going to dinner in a couple of weeks. A guy had his wife of 10 years, had divorce papers on the table with the pen to sign and say, you've got 3 weeks to leave. And in 14 days, this guy came to a new epiphany, a new realization. But this happened last year, and they've just invited me to come to celebrate, because it wasn't just him and his wife, they had 3 children. Imagine the joy you feel when you can just turn situations like that around. And the opposite of that is the devastation for the relationship, for the absolutely turmoil. Absolutely. Wow. So, the thing is, my brother, what I've come to realize is that most of us, we actually don't know what we want. That's the problem. We don't have clarity. Once you get clarity, the universe begins to conspire with you to bring things to fruition. Because it's like, our mind is like a transmitter, and you're sending a message to the universe, but it's all scrambled because you don't know, you're not speaking clearly. Become clear. And the universe like, okay, that's what you want. Let's work together on that. And often, as a coach, as a business coach myself, often you need sometimes an outside catalyst, someone who can hold your hand and guide you. Because, if someone's looking for clarity and they're sitting there watching the television every night, it's just not going to come. No. So sometimes having that guide or that mentor or that coach or that advisor helping you to get that clarity, now you know where you're going, right? Yeah, but it's not even sometimes. It's a principle. And how do I prove it? Just go to the Olympics. You get people from all over the globe. They all come, but yet they all share one thing. What is it? They all have a coach. It's a spiritual principle. So if you really want to be the best person that you can be, the best version of yourself, you don't even have to think about it. Just follow what the best on the planet do. Of course. Makes sense. Makes sense. So you talk about the mindset, the mind reset 90-day challenge. Is that the same as your GPS program? No. So anyone that wants to work with us, I encourage them to get clarity. There's no point spending, big bucks working with me, because it might just be, you just need to get clarity. Then off you go. See? And so that's where we start. We encourage people to start. And I've had practitioners, and they will work with you because they've been through the whole program with me. The mind reset, working on the GPS, and then they've also done a 9-month practitioners program with me. So they support, and we give you all the things that you need to help you change your mindset. We go into some spiritual essences in terms of how your mind works, I talk about the left brain and the right brain, the masculine energy and the feminine energy, which also plagues the mind, and show you how actually, for the most part, you may well be your worst enemy. Why? Because your masculine and feminine mind are at war with each other, and you don't with each other, and you don't even know. So we begin to demonstrate, and it's not just a theory. We use books to prove it. So I was saying to you earlier on, one of the books that we're reading is this book, How Successful People Think.
John Maxwell, yeah.
Yes. Just because you think doesn't mean to say that you're thinking successfully. You could have a poverty mindset and you're still thinking, but all of your thoughts, unbeknown to you, are taking you towards the path of poverty, and you don't realize it.
I know it.
So these are the things that we share with people. And as a result of the 90 Day, the amount of people that we've found who've got clarity and realized their gifts, talents, and abilities, and now want to start a business is the reason why I was speaking to you and you came to our event a few years ago. You know, we've been working with NatWest Bank for 7 years because this is what we were finding, that people were coming to a new epiphany, a new awareness of, hang on, I can use my gifts, talents, and abilities and get paid for it.
Right.
The moment you do that, you have an unfair advantage. You're a businessman, you know, they say 80% of new startups do not make it to their 3rd anniversary.
Correct.
The reason why we were working with NatWest is because when you tap into your genius, when you find your soul's purpose, you become almost unstoppable.
That's fantastic. That's phenomenal. So that's great. So you know, I'm loving what you're saying, helping people to really find their soul purpose so they can create the life they really desire, they deserve, and get paid.
Absolutely, yeah.
Importantly,
yeah. Because life rewards us. This is the point. You know, I had an interview with Michael Beckwith in 2016 where he was talking, and that's why I love rolling with these guys, because it's just a different way of perceiving life.
Right.
He talked about, and this is in 2016, before COVID, that humans need to evolve and do business using what he called the 4 Ps. Unlike how we used to operate, where we just wanted to make money for money's sake.
Yeah.
We're living in a new time, and COVID has shown us that we have to do things differently. Yeah. The 4 Ps is the businesses that are going to success in this, the businesses that will succeed in this new era will be those that focus on people, purpose, as well as profit, your bottom line, but also planet.
Right.
And this was in 2016.
Wow. I mean, we're very, very in synchronized in terms of the way we think and behave and the work that we do. So I totally get it. And look, if you're, one thing I say in one of my seminars is, if you had all the money in the world and you've got a lot of money, but your relationships are poor, you're not in a relationship, your kids don't want to talk to you, and you're a recluse, man, is that a quality life? So like you said, it's not just about the money. It's about the difference that you make and have made, and the impact that you've made and helped in other people. So I love that. That's why I do what I do as well.
Well, I know, and you know, can I share about how I got connected with you through your father?
Yeah, it was a very strange connection, but yeah, go ahead, share.
Well, strange, some people might say, but for me, because I'm all in the power of spirituality, it's no surprise. So I'm speaking to your father a few years ago, who it just so happens that 40 years ago, he and I were in the same room being coached, mentored by the same brother Ishmael.
Right.
So when your dad told me about what you're doing, it made no surprise, because whether you went there or not, what that told me is that, well, your dad was there. And so he's bringing that vibration and that energy back home.
Right.
I'm like, full circle, here we are. 40 years ago, I'm working, and this is why I know that it's destined for us to work together, because We've spoken. You've mentored my son, and as I've said to you, you're the, raising both my children as a single parent. So add that into the mix as well. Like I said, I lost everything, but I gained everything, and also the responsibility of my both my children. And you are the only person that I have invited to sit and pour into my son's life, because I see the man that's in front of me. So I'm really excited about the work that we're going to be doing together,
I'm
because
looking
it's
forward
the
to it.
life.
I'm looking forward to it. Listen, we've been speaking for a while. I love your story, love the background. Great to get to know you more. The Business Success Show, you're listening to Tony DADA and watching him, what he does and who he, what inspires him and how he inspires other people. For those who want to connect with you furthermore, Tony, what's the best way for them to, like someone sitting there thinking, well, I don't have clarity. What he says that makes sense, but how do I do that? And maybe they're lost. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, like I said, as of next month, I enter into my 40th year. And so for me, the whole year is going to be a
40th
celebration.
year in business, you mean, not
No,
40th
in terms of my soul journey.
your soul journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually 30 years as of the 1st of March. So
Right.
either way, I've got reasons to celebrate. So for the whole year, I'm going to be celebrating. And so, and because I know we're going to be doing some stuff, what I've designed just for your people is that I'll give out a URL. They can connect with us, and myself or my team will actually give them a call, and we'll have a conversation and find out what is the best thing and the best part. As I've said, I suggest to people that the mind reset is really the starting point, because it actually helps the individual get clarity in each of these different areas. Some people think that they want one thing, and by the end of the 90th day, it's not even in their field of vision.
Okay. Well, that's very kind of you. So what I'm hearing you say is, look, when you give the URL, they can go there. You'll contact them, or they put their details in, and you just have a conversation. How
Yeah.
can we help? Where are you? What's going on with you? What is it? Yeah. Okay. That's very kind of you to want to do that for our audience. Thank you.
I mean, if some people are really like at the point where they're ready to take action, we're actually starting our next intake of the 90-day challenge next week. So people connect, we'll get in touch with you real quick and see if it's right for you.
Well, good. You're living life on mission. You're helping other people. So this is Tony DADA, Business Success Show from the DADA Success Academy. So check him out, see what he's doing, see how he can help you, him and his coaches and practitioners. Tony, before we finish here, do you have any last words you want to say before we end this conversation?
So I would just really like to encourage people to open your mind. My business mentor, Errol, said once, he said, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. Yeah. So open your mind and allow us to not just show you and introduce you, but help you prove to yourself that there is another way that you can live your life on purpose, authentically, honoring yourself and being of service to life. There is nothing better, no other job that beats it. So the URL, if you want to connect with me, is www.dadasuccessacademy.com/Mac. Drop your details and we'll be in touch. And let's take the challenge. Give me the opportunity to prove how you can take your life to the next level.
So was that DADA Success Academy /Mac?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for
the www.dadasuccessacademy.com/Mac.
Is that all lowercase, I presume, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that for our audience. This is Tony DADA. So check him out. He's been on a journey, but he's helped many people transform their lives, transform their business, and create the life that they really are fulfilled and make money from. So check him out. It's Mac Attram here. Until we speak again from the Business Success Academy. Bye for now. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, my brother.
Doing what you've been doing. Much appreciated. All right.